Hey guys, it's me, Taffy, coming to you with a rare commentary over the top of an Isaac gameplay because of the simple fact that the recording software I use to put these things together, that is usually fast and easy and convenient, chose not to recognize my microphone, which meant that I went to go edit it and crank it out so that I could move on to the next recording tonight. I found that I had no voice, I had no speaking, and while watching a 35 or so minute game of The Binding of Isaac is fun and can be fun, it's one of those things where I feel like I would have just been bombarded in the comment section. Taffy, I come here to listen to you talk about things and stuff, and there was no things or stuff to be spoken about, so what the hell, man? To save myself that headache, I decided to come in here and for the next half hour, just kind of riff it over the top of The Binding of Isaac. What you're looking at right now is a challenge run brought to us by Flightless Bird, who gave us, he called it Mom, I'm going to call it Mama's Boy, because of the simple fact that I think it's got a better ring to it. So the challenge run basically dresses Isaac up to look as much like Mom as possible, giving us Mom's knife, the halo because she is a righteous Christian woman, Mom's pad is our starting item, our starting spacebar item, the blood bag to give us the crazed fucking bloodthirsty look on our face, lipstick to complete the look because you have to accessorize. I mean, come on now, you have to know what your palette is. You have to go in there with the right colors, and you have to, just kind of spruce yourself up to make your man feel special. So after all of that, we use Maggie because it gives us the hair. And the rules beyond that, no deals with the devil because Mom would do no such thing. As we've mentioned before, she is righteous. We don't get to use the Bible because smashing the shit out of Mom twice in a row in utero just probably isn't fair. It's a no-brainer. No familiars, which I think I did right. I love familiars too, like that is actually really super hard for me to justify not taking familiars, but it's stated right there in the rules. And then we couldn't do item rooms until after the depths. So I think as we saw just a moment ago, I chose to go into a curse room. I felt like curse rooms and shops were left on limits. So anything I could do, curse rooms, shops, and chests, I was not bashful about going into those, but I stayed true to the no item rooms, no deals with the devil, which is tough because with Maggie, one of the nice things you have going for you, especially when you get to do stuff like this, is you get a metric buttload of hearts, which are currency. And I was hoping that with me not looking at devil rooms, I would maybe get a deal with the angels, because that obviously is on the table. But those, I believe, come up a little more frequently when you clear the entire floor, and in this situation I was actually trying to kind of blast my way through here as quickly as humanly possible. I don't know why with the challenge runs always turn into, ooh, this is a weird thing that happens with Pin, where we hit him with Mom's pad and then he does this weird video glitch, this animation glitch. I didn't even bother going into the deal with the devil rooms because I was terrified I was gonna have to fight Krampus and then leave the lump of coal behind. It was a headache I didn't want or need. But yeah, the angel rooms I think are tied directly into the amount of the level you clear, and I was just blasting through this. I did get a little draggy at the end where I played the slot machines to try to get my health back up, but yeah, I may even actually cut that out to sort of save myself some time here. Because it's a little different trying to do a live commentary over something that originally you talked over for 35 minutes because you did live commentary. Now granted, some of it was airplane noises and some of it was just me groaning. I think in this point I was probably complaining about the fact that I didn't see a lot of poison damage on Mom's knife, but I was really happy that it was green, sort of a Green Lantern knife. I did notice that the items that I checked in on, I just peeked on a couple because I had a skeleton key at one point, and the first item room I could look in because there was no door locking it. And the first item room was the skeleton key, not the golden one, but the 99 keys. And then the second one was I did have a skeleton key, so it didn't cost me anything to go in there, and that was the relic. I get 2 guppy items right here, and then I don't see another guppy item for the rest of the game. Spoiler alert. It's super heartbreaking. And here I was debating whether or not losing Mom's pad was breaking the spirit of the run. But the only could not lose item listed in the defined rules was I could not leave Mom's knife anywhere. I couldn't go to like Brimstone or Fetus in a Jar or anything like that. So yeah, my play in this one was not terrific. I took a lot of dumb hits. I took a lot of dumb damage. I wasn't crazy about how it goes. I mean, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to spoil it. I don't know if I mentioned our goal was Isaac, but Flightless Bird gave us permission to go onto the chest if we should see fit and feel competent enough to do that. So yeah, how are you guys doing? This week, our first couple of streams as a Twitch partner, I would say were an unbridled success. Here I'm debating as to whether or not I can pick up a trinket, but that trinket gives me a familiar, and that is expressly forbidden in the rules of the run. Because obviously Mom does not play well with anything child size when she has a knife in her hand. So yeah. First week of Twitch partnership, I'd say, was an unbridled success. I'm working on a new art card to show during commercials because I feel it's important to let people know that we're running commercials and not that I just stopped caring. Because normally people would come in and they'd see, you know, we're taking 5 and they'd be like, oh yeah, Taffy, he's playing some music. I'm playing music right now, but I'm doing it in a very leery manner because technically we're monetizing this content by putting advertisements in it. And I don't own the rights to Queen, as best I can tell. I cleaned my desk earlier and I shuffled through some papers, and there was a coupon for a $15 package of food from Little Caesars, which I'm excited about, and that was good news. There was my membership to the Children's Museum of Richmond, which with Grayson was also good news. But I did not, in my travels, uncover the rights to the songs of Queen. So I'm being real sparing about the amount that I'm using music. Maybe somebody can jump down in the comment section below and let me know if they know definitively how Twitch feels, because I know that I've watched some relatively popular streamers just blast copyrighted music out of their eardrums and not appear to give what I would classify as being two shits. You know what? There was something that was affecting my play during this run, and I was talking about it here, and that was the simple fact that today I went to the gym, and after the gym I did some cardio, and after all that I thought to myself, you know, I'm knocking stuff out, I might as well mow the yard. Our yard is notoriously hard to mow because there's a shitload of tree roots everywhere, and I have to be careful about not bottoming out the mower because technically my landlord bought it for me, and I don't want to go to him and say, oh yeah, I bent the shaft hitting it on a 150-year-old tree root that has since calcified to the consistency of poured concrete. Please buy me another $300 Toro whenever you get a second. So I try to be a little bit careful, and ultimately it takes almost 2 hours to mow the front and back and side yards. That's some awful damage to take. God, I'm judging myself right now. So ultimately, for me, it took forever, and it was like, if you guys are in the States, oh god, that's where I went to look at the relic. If you guys are in the States, you'll know that there's a fucking awful heat wave that's gripping the East Coast. I think it was a heat index of about 105 today, and I mowed for 2 hours in that. If you do not live in the United States and you go with Celsius, I think the conversion-ish for that is about 40, 41. I know that 39 through 41 is when you guys kind of consider it hot as balls. Yeah, there's Tech 2. Oh, jeez. There's just so many good items just floating about in this place. Thank God I didn't even just go peek into the Deal with the Devil rooms. That would have broken my heart. But yeah, so I mowed in this heat, and then I went and actually, Grayson was playing in a kiddie pool, and I went and just kicked my shoes off and flopped like face first into the pool with him, which he thought was hilarious, and all I could think about was how the cool water hose water felt terrific on both the back of my neck and my shoulders, which were lightly sunburned. But I have been fighting the world's most ferocious headache ever since then, and fatigue has just been killing me. I'm thinking I should have probably recorded before I did all the physical exertion, because mentally I've just been up against it since then, and it's been kind of tough. I fell asleep sitting up in my office chair not too far back, watching, I want to say, the most recent Northern Lion binding run. And I was kick my feet back. I rest my feet on a sort of home, one of those little fire safes. So I rest my feet on the fire safe. I kick back in my reclining office chair, and that was all she wrote. And the next thing I knew is I woke up to Northern Lion doing his outro and was just like, oh my god, I've been asleep for a little over a half an hour. So I woke up long enough to come in here and play some games, and I'm not crazy about the fact that being fatigued, not being as mentally acute as I normally am. I've got to come in here now and sort of re-record a commentary. But that said, I mean, the challenge run was fun. I had a blast setting it up, and I mean, anytime you get something goofy like, oh, I got the pact here, that was great. Anytime you get something goofy like having Mom's Knife to start the game, you're always kind of interested to see how that'll pan out. But at the same time, the guys, the subscribers who set up the challenge runs usually do a really good job of balancing it out so that it's like, oh yeah, Taffy, you think you're hot shit now, but wait until we don't let you have item rooms for 4 floors, and then we'll see how you feel with, you know, no deals with the devil and all this health. Yeah, I wish I had played this a little more safely. I was watching boiler runs before this too, and I feel like part of it was just like, oh, well, they do okay, and they play like shit. But that's not fair. Okay, let me say this. Boiler runs, people who do boiler runs have a tendency to play fast and loose because they are fighting a clock, and it's always tough for me to watch because I think to myself, oh, well, maybe I could beat these guys if I just went in there and played safely. Because I feel like they take a lot of unnecessary risks and just kind of blame it on, oh, well, I'm racing. I'm just like, you know, measured once, cut twice. I don't know. I was trying to think of an axiom that worked there. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of haste. I don't remember how they go. I was never good with the handyman idioms. I just obviously not a big handyman myself. I got some tools. They're not like real tools. I'm not talking about like the kind of shit that you hook up to an air compressor. But, you know, I got like, you know, a screwdriver and things. I can pump my own gas. Take that, state of Oregon and New Jersey. Yeah, the states of Oregon and New Jersey, and I think it's still this way. I know it is in Jersey. I don't know if it still is in Oregon, but it was when I was a kid. You can't pump your own gas, and that is theoretically, I think, for job creation, I think? I don't know. Or it's that they don't trust Oregonians or New Jerseyites, New Jerseyans, to pump their own gas. I don't know. I'm no social worker or politician. I'm just a man who likes to play Isaac. Here was the first floor of the depths, so I was able to go into the item rooms, and for my troubles, I picked up the Vampiric Charm. Charm of the Vampire. God, I think that's the same mistake I made in there, where I was just like, Charm or Vampire Curse, Curse of the Vampire, and then I went on to talk about True Blood for a while. And yes, I watched True Blood. So why don't you just get over it? Because I don't understand why, but the men on that show make my junk twitch a little bit. I don't understand. Like the men on that show are amazing. Like they take their shirt off, and I'm just like I'm a little bit gay for a minute. But then, you know, the women on that show, like normally a show like that, there's all sorts of, like, there's like a booby quota that they have to fill, like a booby and full naked frontal quota that they have to fill. And normally I'm like super excited about something like that, but the women are really homely in that show. Like the men are beautiful and the women are homely as shit. Like Anna Paquin, I don't understand, man. Like oh, she's so bad at everything. I'm just assuming that, like, bad at life, probably not great at crochet, probably not great at croquet. Like, I just assume she's bad at everything. And I think I actually talked about this a little bit in the video, was the fact that I think she's this generation's Andie MacDowell. I hate Andie MacDowell. That woman is a talent black hole, in that she is not only bad, but she sucks the talent of those around her into her like a vortex. And the only person I've seen who has actually crept up to the event horizon and spit into the black hole and given themselves enough clearance to get away was Bill Murray, who was tremendous opposite her in Groundhog Day, which is a great movie. But stop and think about all the men whose souls she killed along the way, like Bruce Willis in Hudson Hawk, and Michael Keaton in Multiplicity, and every other dude who's been in a movie with her, in that movie that they did with her. Oh God, she does shampoo commercials, and I'm just like, I don't believe that you have hair that needs to be shampooed. And that was really the only requisite you had for this acting job, was to make me believe that you wanted beautiful hair. And I don't believe you. I don't believe you. You are a fraud. You, madam, are a sham. So what the hell's going on in this game, man? We're on Necropolis. We got the counterfeit penny, which is cool. We're stockpiling money. I'm actually kind of getting a little bit nervous here, simply because I know that when I stockpile money, I have a tendency to waste a lot of time in videos and arcades. Now that said, there are a lot of situations where I spend time in arcades that is has saved runs between going to get health and trying to get that third orbital, because I don't dodge so great, and having that third orbital is just crucial when you're fighting like Isaac and Blue Baby. It's like training wheels. It's like teeing off from the women's tee. And yeah, maybe I get spoiled, but it's like other than saving time, I can't justify to myself. I'm like, oh well, I guess it'll shave 3 minutes off of the video. It's 3 dull minutes, and there's part of me that's thinking that on Twitch that might be a great place to run like a 1 or 2 minute commercial. It's like, okay, if I'm gonna grind it out, then I might just run a commercial while I'm in the arcade. I don't know. We're still working on the format for that. I think and what the hell, I'll just go ahead and share this with you guys. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run 3 minutes of commercials, then intro song. It'll be like, as people are gathering, you can just have the commercials on in the background, mute them. I don't give a shit. They're not my products they're selling. But it does help if you have them on. If you have ad blocker on, take it off, man. Taking food out of my child's mouth. I got a cute kid. You want him to not eat? What kind of sicko are you? I'm just kidding. I have ad block on my computer too. Fuck advertisers, man. And I'm going to school for advertising. They can kiss my ass. Whatever. I live how I want to live. That said, though, on certain people like Lethal Frag, our buddy Justra, just channels that I like, people that I support, I actually there's an option to take ad blocker off for specific sites, and I do that for them. If you would do that for Wolf and for me, I would be eternally grateful. If you don't, honestly, it's not a huge deal. Like, I'm not actually butthurt about it. But that said, what I think is like at 6:57 before we start a stream, I'll run 3 minutes of commercials just to have on in the background as people are filtering through the front door, and then I'll do our intro song, and then like a 1 hour Binding of Isaac run, and then 3 minutes of commercial, Binding of Isaac run, 3 minutes of commercial, like half hour of Don't Starve, 3 minutes commercial, half hour of Rogue Legacy, 3 minutes commercials, or no, at the end it'll be outro song, 3 minutes of commercials that the folks just hanging out in chat, because we have a little chat after party that this is a crew of just demented people who actively choose to intentionally spend even more time around not only me but the other people in the stream. And not all of these people are right in the head, but they are a shitload of fun to sit and chat and hang out with. I know that some of them even compete to see who's the last person to leave the stream at the end of the night. But still, some cool folks hang out afterwards, and while they're hanging out and chatting and chilling, like I said, mute it for all I care. But I'm gonna run those commercials just to kind of drag a little extra ad revenue out of each stream. Oh, excuse me, it tastes like cucumber, which I had with dinner. I had a lovely dinner. My wife fixed salmon cakes with lime couscous and fresh corn and fresh sliced cucumber and tomato from her mother's garden, and it was light and sort of fanciful summer fare and delicious. And frankly, she's getting a whole hell of a lot better at her culinary arts. This is a woman who used to burn cereal and milk, so now the fact that she is really throwing together some delicious eats is a huge bonus for me. So I used to be the guy who cooked all the time in the family, and now I'm either recording or putting something together for YouTube, or I'm at graduate school, which if you were in the stream, you know that I'm torn right now because the way that the channels are growing, it's conceivable that come May, when I'm wrapping up my second year of graduate school and looking at my master's degree, I will actually have to make a choice about whether or not to go into advertising or to brave the waters with Rob as 2 full-time YouTubers, dedicating our efforts to both the Mr. Wiffle's channel, Taffy's Man Cave, the Twitch stream, and maybe launching some merchandise, which Evan Eckert has said he is completely on board to do, as long as we cut him in on the profits. and we can understand and respect that, considering the amount of work that man's done for us and never given us a single penny. So, you know, if all those things come together and the stars align and we're working on a better deal for the channel with our partner networks, associates, friends, comrades, camaraderie, come at me, bro. So if we can get the right deal for the channels, and if we can get, you know, continue to grow at this rate, even faster would be better if we, you know, found the right sort of community to bring us in. But even at this rate, we're reaching a point where I'll have to make a decision. Do I take my family and move to a new city where, you know, conceivably my wife doesn't even want to live, and maybe even that neither one of us have ever called home, so that I can, you know, work in advertising but make a ridiculous amount of money in a relatively short period of time? Or do I roll the dice on this YouTube fame and God, I'm playing like absolute ass at this point in the game. Or do I roll the dice on this YouTube fame and this is a good mom fight. This is a good mom's foot fight. I'd absolutely wreck face here. Do I roll the dice on this YouTube fame and try my hand at becoming kind of a less I'm trying to pick, man, am I ever trying to pick the right word here? A less commercial version of Woody's gamer tag, I guess. Like I said, that's probably, you can breathe what you want to into that. I think Woody's probably a really good person, but there are definitely times where I watch his videos and watch his efforts and just go, ooh, this reeks of what can I think of today to get myself some money. And I mean, I get that. I totally get that, because that's what's holding me back right now, is the fact that I have Gray and I have my wife, and I actually have another one on the way. If you didn't already know that, another little gamer will be showing up in this family in January. So we find out the sex in about a month and a half. My wife and I are both rooting for a girl, because, you know, we feel like if we have a boy and we have a girl, then we've collected the whole set. No reason to collect anymore. Pardon me. If we have a boy, then Grayson will have a brother, and we'll probably try again. And if we have a third boy, then I'm relatively sure that she'll go out for milk and just never come back one night. So, you know, fingers crossed it's a girl. I think it's a boy. But I think that's just because I don't want to have a girl, because I know how thoroughly dominated I'll be by that. That said, back to the point at hand, was just I understand, you know, if you're going to commit to this, as I understand it, Woody had a fine job with fine pay and stopped that to become a YouTuber. So I can understand feeling apprehensive about that, because I'm just debating about whether or not I would entertain going to get a fine job with fine pay and fine benefits, or if I would try to join the community of probably, I mean, I know every single day I go into the Mr. Wiffle channel's inbox, and even sometimes on Taffy's Man Cave, and I see just tons and tons of mostly teenage kids that come in and say, oh, you know, it'd be awesome if Wolf came and played with me, because I just started my channel. I don't have any videos up yet, but I'm learning how to do that. So would you come over and, you know, run some Hunger Games with me so that I can get famous like you? And it's just like, man, that's so not how that works. There are honestly probably only hundreds of people in the world that can actually call themselves full-time YouTubers, and I'm not one of those people yet. But I think Rob and I are on the cusp of that. And man, oh man, this would be cool to think of this as the gig. And my display just shut down, so now I'm staring at the inky blackness of death. Okay, good. Colors again. Lots of pretty colors and bouncing sound bars. And a little bit of Binding of Isaac in the corner of the screen. Excuse me. I really think I took in a lot of pollen and grass trimmings today. I'm going to end up being one of those medical oddities where, you know, some guy who was working in as a gardener in Japan grew a tree in his lungs because he breathed in a seed. God, this mom's heart fight was a pain in the ass. Did you guys ever hear about that? The guy that breathed in like a tiny spore of pollen, and it actually created a miniature sapling inside his lungs, and he had to have it removed. These are the things that these are the stories I look for on the web. Just like Trayvon Martin, what? No, no, dude with tree in lungs. That's what I care about. Which makes me a horrible person, but you knew that coming in, so... so here we are at the cathedral. Ultimately, as I will have to try to remind you, because it's been such a good long goddamn time that I have not talked about the game itself, because you have eyes, you can see what's happening. It's one thing to talk about it while I'm playing, because obviously I'm immersed in the gameplay. It's another thing to, you know, sit here and try to recreate that nonsense for you, where I'm just like, oh, Monstro 2, no, get into position so that I can do the glitchy thing and lock you in your mannerisms and totally penetrate you with this green knife. Yeah, that doesn't have the right tone to it, does it? So I would say that at this point I was pretty desperate to open as many golden chests as I could find, because I really desperately wanted the last part of the Guppy compilation. I felt confident during this run, especially with getting 2 Guppy items in one room, that I was oh my god, I'm so ridiculously exhausted. Sorry about that. I was really confident that at some point during this run I was going to pick up like 9 lives or something and complete the Guppy ensemble. This was a shitty room for me too. Greed, man. Greed is my kryptonite. I can't... Especially like greed with Mom's knife, like multiple greeds with Mom's knife, you got to get in for the intimate moments. You know where I like to use a knife? Like I don't want to savor the little details. I want to get in there and blast his shit with brimstone from halfway across the room, especially when you got 2 turrets playing the role of douchebag in the middle. Yeah, it's an awful room for me. So, I also noticed that this is a super long-ass walk to... okay, well, first of all, this was the run of a million things that shoot multiple shots. And then, yeah, the walk to Isaac could not have been any longer. I landed in Newark and had to walk to Manhattan. Like, that's how this felt. And my knife work, my mom's knife work, was just abysmal in the back end of this. I don't know why all of a sudden I couldn't hit the ground with 3 tries. So I apologize for the sort of sloppy marksmanship here towards the end. So yeah, I start school again soon, and for me that's weird. And when I left school for the break back in early May. When I left school for the break back in early May, we had, I don't know, man. We had just gone from like 32,000 subscribers. When I came back to like work on the channel pretty much full time with Rob back in March, we had 32,000 subscribers, and we were losing. We were losing subscribers because Rob could not for the life of him figure out what he wanted to post on the channel. He knew he didn't want it to be COD. But every day he posted a new thing, and he never stopped to find an audience. He was posting what he wanted to be playing, but most of the people who showed up to watch us were there for passive aggression and Call of Duty content, and Rob didn't want to play Call of Duty anymore, and I certainly don't blame him. But, you know, we were losing subscribers, and so that turned around when he picked up Minecraft, and he started running with the right people and saying and doing the right things, and just has generally the right personality for Minecraft. I can understand why the kids love him and his rock and roll music. But yeah, by the time I ended school, it seemed like a pipe dream. Like, it was fun because everybody at the school knew, like, oh yeah, we got a couple of internet famous people at the school. The other one is sort of, oh god, is it Pakistan's answer to Michael Bublé? He's a really good singer, man. He's a handsome kid too, and I have seen YouTube videos of him like doing interviews in London and stuff like that for essentially just being a really famous singer in other parts of the world. And so this is actually kind of a hair-raising end to this. I forgot how close this was. But yeah, the other one is us. Like, mostly the millennial guys your age that are at this school, want to come over and talk and be like, oh my god, Ryan, you're kind of internet famous. And I'm like, like a tiny bit, like a little bit, like less than Justin Bieber, but at this point kind of more than Kai with the hatchet. Except for, yeah, he's a murderer, so fuck him. I win. He's going to prison. He can't make any more videos. He just did the one. I'm gonna take a little sip of water, man. I'm feeling hoarse throat. This would be one of those times where I played out the portable slot machine to try and get my health back up. The problem with that was it dropped a bomb, and I literally did not have a finger. I had a finger on the space bar and did not have a hand anywhere near the directional keys. So I ended up popping the world card. Not that I wouldn't have anyway, but I ended up popping the world card because I just slapped my fat ass polar bear like palm down on the directional buttons to make myself get away from the bomb. So at this point, I'm just trying to get myself back to full health, and I think that the portable slot machine kicks it into high gear and gives it up here towards the end. Oh, excuse me, cucumbery. And from here, we head out and decide we're gonna try to tackle Blue Baby. So it'll be interesting. Social Blade, which is a stat tracking website, let us know today that we passed John Mayer, which is fun for me. Body is wonderland. I walked out of a John Mayer concert once, man. I got nothing for him. I don't think he's bad. I just don't like it. His voice does nothing for me. I think he's a really talented guitarist. There was part of me that was really bitter when he won a Grammy over, I want to say, like Eric Clapton and Sting the first time that he was at the Grammy Awards. I can't take him seriously because the faces that he makes while he's playing. So yeah, Social Blade, which tracks, and I go there every day to see if if I'm passing anybody we know, which sometimes can be fun because if it was somebody that we were like hassling and haranguing to try to get into a passive aggression, and now all of a sudden we're they say no, they don't answer because we're a small channel, but there are rare occasions now where we're passing the people that we hassled, especially when they say, when they said no, that it's kind of nice to be like, see you in the rear view. So Social Blade will let us, kind of projects based on a month of statistics where we'll go and what we'll be, and it predicts that by about this time next year, if we were to grow at this rate, we would pass 1 million subscribers on the main channel by this time next year. Or this time next year? I don't know. Maybe this time next year was 600,000. It's within a year and a half. And as you guys know, I mean, our growth has become kind of exponential. You can't take into account the fact that we make new friends every day. And so to get up into that range would be cool and would be very job worthy. Now the shit thing, and I say shit thing kind of tongue in cheek, is that Rob and I split that money. So you got other solo YouTubers that don't have to do that, but that's why we're building the cave, is to have 2 channels where you can put out twice the stuff, the output, the created content. Just because of the simple fact that I'm finally at a point now where I'm smart enough to know how to edit and put stuff together in Photoshop, thumbnails and stuff like that. It used to just be that I just advised Rob on the business end of things. Because I didn't know how to do any of that, but over a couple of years of watching the kid work, I had no choice but to kind of almost accidentally learn how to take care of myself on a computer. So, ultimately, Taffy's Man Cave is supposed to be a place for both of us to sort of land and live and post things. But right now, Rob's got himself so buried in main channel content that's fine. Like for the next 9 months or so, I will try to lay down a lush bed of clover for his tiny, tender Jewish ass to land on when he does get over here and says, I want to put up blah, 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 but I don't want to edit the shit out of it the way I always edit everything else, and it's really not Minecraft, so it doesn't belong over on the other channel. Well, then he has a place to do that. And if like the other day I was playing Minecraft with Jerome and Mitch and Gold Solace and Husky Mudkips and frankly a handful of guys that I'd never met before. So if for some fucking miracle of a reason you're watching this one of those other guys and I didn't name you, then I apologize. But ultimately I didn't end up doing anything with the footage, and I got rid of it. And I was just like, that's cool. I'll be on Jerome's channel. That's fine. That's fun. But ultimately I got rid of it because I was just like, I'm not going to post Minecraft on this channel. I don't much want to. Like, I know there are other people who are like, post your point of view. It's mostly me just trying to remember what buttons do what. So, but yeah, if I reach a place where all of a sudden these guys who used to be with ASF that are now with Team Crafted start calling me in, or Kermit calls me in to do something, now I have a place to put it too. It's just that we call, channels 1 and channels 2, because we didn't think that it was right to call it your channel and my channel. So number 1 is our Minecraft channel, or any game you want to play with shit that has a bunch of cubes in it, and you have to try to mind your manners and not swear a whole bunch and say fuck, because you have to know that the majority of your audience is like 12. I'm not good at that yet, and Rob edits out a lot of my absolute worst stuff, like the stuff that I do and say where I'm just like, even I'm not all that proud of what I just did and said. He cuts that out pretty well. So that's what number 1's gonna be, and then this is number 2, and this is the place, because at the time that he was getting into Minecraft, I was just like, oh god, I'm horrible at Minecraft, but I'm really interested in like Binding of Isaac and all these other games like Rogue Legacy and Don't Starve and Faster Than Light and the games that everyone else seems to enjoy playing. And so Trials, I'm trying to get back into Trials. I'm recording Trials with Kermit tomorrow, which should be fun. Here's our blue baby fight. Has it been a half hour already? Stuff like that. I was wanting to play it, but we had to put up separate channels because of the simple fact that that would just be so much fucking content. That would be so much content to put up on one channel. That would be like 4 videos a day, and we just didn't. We didn't want to become that thing where, and I'm dead. We didn't want to become that channel where, and now there's darkness. We didn't want to become that channel that flooded your inbox with about 5 videos a day. Well, that was interesting. That was fun. Thank you to Flightless Bird for the Mama's Boy Challenge. Head down to the comment section below and give us your challenges. If you put them down before, put them down again. And the ones that are upvoted will be the ones that I'll see first. So I'll probably do those first. And yeah, keep putting it in there, because eventually people will see that and go, oh, I never thought about that. And they'll put it up towards the top. And otherwise I'll run out of top voted challenges, and I'll have to go back through and dig up stuff and be like, oh, that looks interesting. So yeah, until then, on behalf of the Mr. Waffles channel and the Cave, thank you for tuning in. My name is Taffy, and I am out.